I'm not sure if I go back to 1959 and start with today's generation, bred and brought up in comfort. You know, there's no discomfort from the HDB flat with an air conditioner in your room or your dining room to walk down, and you've got a covered walkway to the bus stop. You don't have to get wet. You don't even have to carry an umbrella. Your father and grandfather's generation lived a hard life. Very few people had homes of their own. In Chinatown, you have cubicles, 8 or 10 people in the room, sharing 4 bunks, because they do shift work, save money. If you lived in those conditions and you get a flat, 1 room, which is what we started with, communal bathroom, communal kitchen, running hot and cold, water closet. That's from the lowest depths of the ship to a deck with a window with a pothole and air coming in. And from that to go to a 3-room or 4-room or 5-room flat, you go up to the higher levels of the ship. And finally now we've got executive flats and condominiums. That means you're on a cruise ship at the very top. Now, I have watched my grandchildren grow up, and they are growing up much more comfortably than my children. My wife and I made sure that they became self-reliant and not somebody who will pick up their balls for them. As Prime Minister, I was given a house at Sri Temasek, so I took them there one day to play. And Sri Temasek is on high ground. They're playing with the ball rolled down. And the butler ran about 50 or 60 yards to pick up the ball and bring it back. My wife and I watched that and said, no, if we stay here for 5 years, my children will grow up believing that life is like that. And that somebody will always pick up balls for them. We stay at home. And I think that's been good for them. Now that is the problem we face today. Many of the parents who are in these HDB flats started like the people in Chinatown. They understand what it is to be poor. Today's children do not understand what it is to be poor. But you can intellectually and emotionally understand that if you don't make the same effort, you go back to where you were. And I thought to myself, what will happen to Singapore in 100 years? I don't know. Can we get the same generation, successive generations to understand that we have built this edifice? This is a 100-story building built on an extremely narrow foundation but piled deep and structured in such a way that the winds won't blow it down. To do that, you need a people with a drive and a leadership that anticipates the future. You vote in a dud lot, even though you work hard, you'll work hard to no purpose. You know how carefully we are choosing our ministers? We throw the net wide. Not just scholars. Every successful man, before he's successful, he must have some inner drive in him, something that makes him make the right judgments in life. So we throw it across society. Finally, we put them through psychometric tests, values, attitude, life story, how you were brought up and so on, and your values. Some people are naturally religious. Some people are naturally socially conscious. Some are economically driven, and so on. So we have a very good profile which reduces the risk. Then we take them in as MPs, test them out, and as junior ministers, see their mettle, see whether they can swim in the deep end of the pool. Then finally, after 2 terms, you become a minister, by which time we have seen the mettle in the man. And no other country does that. But we have ministers out of 3 million people who can talk to Chinese ministers, American secretaries of state and secretaries of treasury and so on, or any European nation, at the same level. Intellectually, we are not inferior to them, but they are just the top cream of Singapore, whereas on the other side, they are part of a pretty wide, thick spectrum of cream. So it's easy to choose. Now, we need these 2 things. Then you've got today's Singapore. Then you've got this cultural hall. Then we can sit down and talk about what will happen in 50 years. Otherwise, we'll be scratching a living. So please don't forget that.